Kargil. Sir, we all eagerly await to hear from you.
My name is Roy Menezes. I served the Indian Navy span from 1991 to 2006. I'm going to present to you the tri-color song, Jai Bharati, Desh, Desh, Karya Hum Sabko, Kadam Kadam Badhaye Ja, followed by Sareja. So, medley.
Thank you so much, sir, for that lively performance. I think we should give a slightly louder. Yes. Our heartful tribute to the heroes of the Kargil War, who fought and fearlessly made the ultimate sacrifice for the sovereignty and honor of our nation. It is more than just a day of remembrance. Today, as we are joined by distinguished dignitaries along with the NCC cadets and home guards, and apart from that, by everybody else who is watching us right now, I request our chairman, our president of the ex-NCC Cadets Association, Pradeep Sawant sir, to please give his welcome address.
Brigadier Thakkar, Brigadier Pereira, all officers, DIG Bosco, all officers who have served in the armed forces, members of the defense, civilian defense society, members of the media, today as we have gathered to pay tribute to the martyrs of those who sacrificed their lives in Operation Vijay, I vividly recollect those days when I had just moved to Cochin on transfer with a small daughter, 6 months old, and most of those who have served in Kerala, in those days, I think so it was very difficult to integrate with the civilian society because they wouldn't accept you, especially if you were a Fauji. They would always look at you with suspicion, somebody who's come from outside to assert himself or herself, and we had this language problem. And I was in a squadron, I was in aviation, I had changed over from marine to aviation. So I had joined a squadron called 550 Squadron, INAS 550, which is also known as the Flying Fish. And I was the engineering officer. And somewhere June 4th or 5th, if I'm not mistaken, in the evening, it was around 6:37, when the whole squadron had secured, but I was there since my men were working on the aircrafts. And suddenly this message comes to me from one of the sailors. He says, "Squadron Commander Saab bula raha hai." And when I went there, all will agree we have these nicknames, and so I was known as Ferdy. Ferdy. He said, "Ferdy, early morning," he said, "the Air Force aircraft is coming and we have to go for the operations." So ours was the first unit from the Navy to actually take part. We were not told where we are going, but the next day, early morning, I had to put my wife and daughter on the flight, to go home, because that time the airport was in Cochin, not the new international airport. The only airport was inside the naval base. And every day in that short period of time, there were a lot of coffins that were coming, a lot of martyrs, and many of them, most of them were from Kerala. So aircrafts used to come with this coffin. And my men who were there in the squadron, it was very heartening when they asked me. He said, "Sir, humko wahan jana hai. We want to, lift those coffins." That was that thing, you can, even now when I recollect those days, everybody wanted to go and put their hand and unload those coffins. They were feeling themselves, that contributing to this fight, without knowing that shortly we would get that call. And we were actually in that was a training squadron where we used to train pilots who would eventually go on different fighter aircraft. And imagine, it was the training squadron which got the call to participate, because we had some of the most experienced pilots and the Navy didn't want to take chances. So we went there. The AN-32 came, picked us up, dropped us somewhere at the border in Gujarat. So we were given a task. We had to integrate with the Air Force operations. So we were given a sector, and our main responsibility was for reconnaissance. So actually for almost first 10 to 15 days, it was only our aircrafts that were flying, and we were feeding all the information. So it was a very good experience, especially, directly in the operations. There was no place to sleep. Sometimes people feel that armed forces are taken care of. No, it's not like that. We had to adjust to those conditions. The airfield which was there from where we operated, you'll be surprised, was probably some years back, decades back, which was built by the Britishers. After independence, there was nothing. It's known as the FOB, Forward Operating Base. So our men had to first, when I say men, we, all of us, the officers and the men together, we cleared the runway, we cleared the vegetation. There was vegetation we had to clear. That was also a place for decades for the cattle. So we had to clear that place, make it into an airfield, and that is how we operated. There was, after a couple of days, there was a government school which had closed down for holidays. So the headmaster was kind enough to open and give that place for our men to sleep. So these were the conditions which I want people to know that, these are small things. So there was no comfort. It happened all of a sudden. And I think so, the country also learned a lot from that operation. I was there, all of us were there, the unit which was sent till the end. And then when we came back, I think so we had a lot to tell. And today I appeal to the people of Goa, though Mr. Bosco said he feels proud that a lot of Goans have done extremely well. They're right here. But I appeal to the parents. Always think that armed forces is also an option. I can tell you with certainty today, I survive, and very comfortably I survive with my pension. There should be no doubt. This is the only service which gives you pension today. And if something happens, your family, your wife will be looked after. No other service, I think so, even the police service has stopped pension from 2004. It's only the armed forces. Pension is one part. The other thing, a lot of parents, they say, I have only one child. Some parents say it's very dangerous, and I say, can you name one soldier who has died? Till today, no soldier has ever died. They're all martyrs. They will live forever. Please think of that. Tell the other parents, tell your friends, neighbors, everyone, a soldier never dies. Soldier will live on. So my appeal to the parents in Goa, please, armed forces is a very good option, and it is not an option, it's a duty. It's a call that we all have to take. Thank you very much, and thank you for Mr. John for organizing your team, and thank you for the media for coming today for covering this event. Thank you.
जब देश में थी दिवाली, वो खेल रहे थे होली। जब हम बैठे थे घरों में, जब हम बैठे थे घरों में, वो झेल रहे थे होली। जवानों अपनी धन्य उनकी जवानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। कोई सिख कोई जाट मराठा, कोई सिख कोई जाट मराठा, कोई गुरखा कोई मद्रासी, कोई गुरखा कोई मद्रासी। सरहद पर मरने वालों, सरहद पर मरने वाला हर वीर था भारतवासी। जो खून गिरा पर्वत पर, वो खून था हिंदुस्तानी। जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी।
Officers and the Kargil airport. I was posted in Patiala, and my colleagues were posted in JNT.
Honorable Member of Parliament, Delhi Airport, the DIG sir, my colleague, Brigadier Pereira, and all the dignitaries here, ladies, gentlemen, and the youth out here. I'm very happy to be here in this function to organize or to celebrate the 26th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas. And I'm very happy to be speaking on this occasion. At the outset, let me wish everybody a very happy Kargil Vijay Divas. Let me share a few anecdotes and a few of my memories, because I am from Grenadiers Regiment and I had the distinct honor of serving in Battalion as a brigade commander, where that 50% of the Kargil war was fought in 99. I was there as a brigade commander from 2009 to 2010. I had 68 kilometers of line of control to guard, and in this 68 kilometers, I had 107 posts. Now when I say post, it means few people, right from 4 to 7 to 8 people staying there and guarding the line of control. The height of this post, 107 posts, varied from 9,000 to 21,000 feet. Out of these 107 posts, there were 27 posts which were above 16,000 to 17,000 feet. And the beauty of these posts, the hardship of these posts were, they were absolutely cut off during winters. Come November and no movement. Nobody can go up to them. They can't come down. Till May, end May approaches, where the night temperature drops down to almost minus 45 to 50 degrees. And the only lifeline a soldier has in his bunker is a kerosene oil stove, which is lit 24/7 by 365 days. Now the challenge is how to keep those men alive at the altitude of 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 feet under the temperature of minus 20 to minus 40, 45 Celsius. Yeah, it's a complete total exercise, and you'll be aghast, you'll be surprised to learn that come May till about October, we have a window to stock this post. When I say stocking this post, is the logistics backup to reach during the summer months when the routes are open, when the path is clear, the helicopters can land, the mules can fly. So the main aspect is the kerosene oil. which has to be dumped in very, very high quality, high quantity. And if the kerosene oil fails, you are doomed. As a brigade commander, my only nightmare used to be, when the night used to approach, and I used to pray to God, God, don't give me any challenges today. Don't give me any sad news today. Don't let my men fall sick tonight, because I will not be able to evacuate them. And 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you get a call from a post on a wireless, sir, such a man is under the influence, under the problem of hypothermia. What do? I can't send anybody because it's totally closed. There is a fear of avalanche. Nobody can come down, nobody can get up. Only hope is helicopter, and you hope like hell that the next day morning is clear when I can call up a helicopter. And the helicopter, the beauty of the helicopters, or the problem with the helicopters is they are not supposed to be flying 1 kilometer close to the line of control, because that's a treaty between both the nations. So what do? So you inform the other side through your local contact point. Okay, look, we have a casualty here, and we are going to evacuate in the morning. And we inform backwards also till Delhi. And Delhi also informs on the hotline to Pakistan that don't open fire in a particular sector. Grid reference is this, the map reference is this, because there is a CAS evac being undertaken. And we used to send helicopters if things are, If the helicopter is also no-go, then the brave soldiers of the Indian Army would make a portable stretcher, put that casualty, and at night only, because the daytime, there's a problem of enemy fire. They will slowly and slowly carry that casualty as far as possible under whatever threat they are in. Why I'm telling you all this? I'm telling you all this is to make a picture as to what kind of life these people lead in such a terrain, such an operation. I always say Kargil war was different. It was different not because it was fought at that altitude of 16,000 to 18,000 feet high. It was different not because it was fought under the extreme temperatures of minus 15, minus 20 degrees Celsius in the month of May. It was different not because it was a war of junior leaders. It was different not because it was fought between two nuclear powers, a conventional war between two nuclear powers. It was different. It was different because an impossible was attempted. An impossible was attempted. Right? People and soldiers walking into the jaws of death. I will just share one or two anecdotes which I had shared with John. He named Subedar Major and Honorary Captain Yogendra Kumar Yadav. He fought in Dras sector. He fought in Tiger Hill War and earned the Paramveer Chakra. The living legend. So when the 18 Grenadiers, my regiment was tasked to capture Tiger Hill top, there was one particular object, one particular bunker obstructed and mined well. One properly sighted machine gun in a bunker can withhold a battalion size attack. Because the route is only one where a soldier has to physically climb up and go and lob a grenade and destroy that bunker. And that route is properly marked by the machine gun. So it is a short walking into the death. But you still go creating some kind of a camouflage, smoke screen under the hours of darkness, some foxpower, some whatever it is. So the Yogendra was tasked, Yogi, a young soldier, 19 years old, not married, 2 years of service. He was asked to go and destroy that bunker. So this man goes with his buddy. When he's about 10 meters short of the bunker, he receives 17 bullets in his stomach. 17 bullets in his stomach. And he lies like there in pool of blood. His buddy says, Yogi, tere goli lagi hai. And Yogi has the guts to say, koi baat nahi, goli lagi, sala koi gola nahi laga. We'll go and destroy him. And this man slowly crawled as much as he could, lobbed the grenades, shot the 4 Pakis there. And that's how he earned the highest gallantry award of this nation, the Paramveer Chakra. Second incident is Vikram Batra. You all would have heard. Ye Dil Mange More. He's from Jackref, right? His battalion had captured one objective and the next objective was to be captured. So the CO, the commanding officer, was mulling over as to who would lead the attack. Here comes Vikram Batra and says, volunteered, I will go and launch the second attack also. The CEO says, Vikram, you just came from a thing. Why do you want to go again? Here comes the catch line, the most famous phrase, which was aired. Sir, I want to go again because here dil mange more. Such are the soldiers. Such are the people guarding your nations. And when Lieutenant Non-Groom, an officer from Meghalaya, sir has just brought out Arunachal Pradesh, very close to Arunachal Pradesh. When he died, the message was sent to his father. His father replied to the unit, it's a sad loss for me, for my family. But please, you guys carry on. Do your task. I have my best wishes for you. I want the victory to be yours. Give this tribute, give this memory to my son. I'll be very happy. Such are the people. I would like to pay my homage and respect to all those 527 martyrs of this nation. When they died, most of them carried pictures of their families in their pocket. Some letters from their children in their pocket. And the letters read, some of them, it is in the media, I'm not telling you anything. I was not there to see. Papa, दुश्मन को मार के आना. Papa, जंग जीत के आना. And there are no more. Least did these children know that most of their parents, most of their fathers won't even return back to their homes. We will not be there with them again. This was what it is, and today we are here. Thank you, John. Thank you, Savant, and thank you everybody whosoever is involved in the organization to give this opportunity. I pay my tribute. I pay my homage to all the martyrs, to all those who fought in Kargil war, who has given us the victory through their blood and life. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
We now invite you, sir, to kindly enlighten all of us.
Arunachal Pradesh, and it so happened from a regular posting in the police, I was also the secretary to the governor of Arunachal Pradesh. That was in 21, 22. And you know, when a Goan goes out of Goa, it's sometimes like a fish out of water. So sometimes that's why I said we are very proud that we have such distinguished Goans in the armed forces, which very few know about it. Everyone only knows Goa as something like Susegat or enjoying and this and that, and such a wrong picture. But when you see the distinguished presence, it's very heartening. And it is in this connection that while I was in Arunachal, I came to know that on 4th November 1963, Major E.B. Fernandez, who was engineer after the 1962 war, had was sent to Arunachal Pradesh to prepare an airfield after the 62 war. So during one of his visits in the Siang district of Arunachal Pradesh, his helicopter crashed and he died over there. When I came to know about it, I read about it. I called up the SP of the area and I said, please find out if there is any memorial over there. So he said, हाँ साहब, उधर एक memorial है. So I said, ठीक है, मैं आता. And you know, traveling from Itanagar to the Siang district, it really takes nearly 36 hours. And to take a break, because nearly 12 hours you travel in Assam and then after back again into Arunachal. And it was really, when I went over there, it was a small memorial over there, thick with vegetation, so I could jump on through different areas. I finally went over there, the SP took me over there, and the irony is the Siang River has changed its course, so the entire airfield is gone, but that memorial it was there. And then I told him, देखो हमारे गोवा वाले भी इधर आके जमीन के लिए उनका जान भी दे दिया. So it is really heartening, and it is in this connection that when John invited me, I felt that we have to come and pay respects to not only the Goans who have laid down their life, but the valor of the Indian army. Even though during my when I went to Tawang, I just want that when you see it is very, very heartening to see such. I mean, when you think. I was complaining that the roads are bad now, so I just thought in 62 what it must be. And then they told me, Sabji, yaad ke upar saman rakhi. I mean, it is something really historic, and thank you for having invited me. It is really touching, and that's why I come to pay respects to these great Jawans of our country.
On this solemn day,
आज कारगिल डे तुमचे किती प्रोग्राम आसा आनी कितें जायते दिसाचे सांगता.
हांव भालचंद्र आमोणकर अखिल गोंय माजी सैनीक कल्याण संघटनेचो अध्यक्ष आणि आमी हे कारगिल विजय दिवस हो 26वा विजय दिवस आज मनयता. वेरीन 527 जे सोल्जर्स लेड डावन जाले तांकां ट्रिब्यूट म्हणून आमी आझाद मैदानाचेर रीत प्रेजेंट करतात, तांकां एक मेमोरियलाचेर. आज आजच्या कार्यक्रमाक आमी मेन म्हळ्यार चीफ गेस्ट आमचे कडेन आशिल्लो तो कारगिल हिरो ब्रिगेडियर B.N. करियप्पा, जो रिसिपियंट ऑफ वीर चक्र आनी सेना मेडल, तशेंच ब्रिगेडियर अनिल पेरेरा गोंयचो, आनी ताचो टॉक सांजचो आसतलो परत मोटिवेशनल फॉर द NCC कॅडेट्स. वेरीन 600 कॅडेट्सांक तो रवींद्र भवन साखली भुरग्यांक कशें जॉयन करप, कितें करप ताच्या बद्दल मार्गदर्शन करतलो. हो कारगिल दिवस आमी एज ए अखिल गोंय माजी सैनीक कल्याण संघटना ह्याच्या खातीर करता की अवेरनेस स्प्रेड जावचें गोंयच्या भुरग्यां मदीं आर्म फोर्सिसा बद्दल. आनी खंय तरी गोंयकारांच्या भुरग्यां मदीं कळना, खबर ना की करियर कितें आसा आर्म फोर्सिसान आनी वॉट आर द ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज आर अवेलेबल फॉर देम. फॉर बेजीक आमी सगळ्या गोंयभर खंय ना खंय तरी आमी अवेरनेस चालूच आसा.
तर तुमकां दिसता ते गोंयचे भुरग्यांक अवेरनेस ना ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज मेळना कितें.
अवेरनेस ना. सी अवेरनेस म्हळ्यार पयलीं पेरंट्सांक सांगपा जाय की मीथ काडपा जाय तांच्या भितरले की आर्म फोर्सीस म्हळ्यार दे थिंक दॅट इज व्हेरी लो दिस थिंग जॉब. बट तूं जर आर्म फोर्सांत वतलो जाल्यार द कट ऑफ इज समवेर एट 96-97%. इट इज मोर दॅन आउटसायड बिकॉज द फिटेस्ट पर्सन सक्सीड्स इन द आर्म फोर्सीस. जशें आतां जेन्ना कारगिल वॉर जालें, इट हॅज स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 5000 meters टू इट हॅज गॉन टू 7900 feet फ्रॉम द तोलेलिंग टू द टायगर हिल्स. आणि जशें आमचे ब्रिगेडियर करेपान आतां सांगिल्लें आसा की हाव फार इट वॉज अबाउट 15 kilometers ट्रॅक फ्रॉम द हायवे टू दी बटालिक आनी थंयच्यान परत वयर चडप आनी फायट करून जिखप इज नॉट अ जॉब बिकॉज टेम्परेचर रेंजीस फ्रॉम -48 degrees आनी जशें जशें वयर पावता जाल्यार ऑक्सिजनाचो खूब फरक पडटा ऑक्सिजनाचो. सो आवर आर्मी, द सोल्जर्स, आवर ऑफिसर्स हॅव फॉट लायक दे हॅव गिवन द लायफ for the motherland, and I feel the Goans have a lot of opportunities म्हळ्यार कितें खंयच्याच क्षेत्रांत ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी ना अशें ना. आर्म फोर्सिसान इफ यू आर अ कॉमर्स ग्रॅज्युएट यू कॅन जॉयन इन द अकाउंट्स ब्रांच. There is, if you are you have done a B.Ed, you can join in the instructional group. It's not that only you become a pilot. You have every engineer, let it be electrical, let it be mechanical, let it be instrumentation. Everyone is required in army, and they can succeed in life. And serving nation is a proud moment once in a life for every. I have served in Indian Air Force, so I think it's a call for all the youth that they should take the opportunity evening at 3 p.m. sharp at the Ravindra Bhavan to listen to the career aspect through Brigadier Anil Pereira, आमचो गोंयकार. जय हिंद.